Productions.
Outstanding.
Welcome again to another tutorial video. It's a boy Eldorado and Ting. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification button and Ting. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how me do for me recording templates or record normally in 2021. So first and foremost, what me always do is create my audio tracks. So you can go up here, tracks, new, and create. But we go create a bunch of tracks and do the necessary routing and add some plugin, etc. etc. Anyways, being as we know the shortcut, Control Shift N, and normally we would create 5 mono audio track, 3 stereo auxiliary track, and 1 master stereo track. So when you do that, basically it wrote like that. So for instance, I'm going to delete 2 of the auxiliary tracks and we're going to create them later back in the video. Now what me normally do, me normally route these mono track to a stereo auxiliary track and add some plugins after and some send return bus feedback to it also. So first and foremost, you want to select the first one, press shift, select the last mono track, press alt shift and input to your microphone. So for this tutorial, set the microphone plugin to in one mono. So when you do that, every single one of the input, because you select using the shortcut and select all the microphone input, so it is select to the first microphone input. However, depending on the interface you have, you might have a multitude of 4 or 5 or probably 8 inputs, so they will name accordingly if you create a track like how I just created it. Now again, we're going to press alt shift, select the output, go to bus and select bus 1 and 2. So everything is routed to bus 1 and 2. However, we haven't set up bus 1 and 2, so we're going to do that now. So auxiliary 1 here, we're going to select input, bus 1 and 2. So everything from the mono audio track here is routed to the first auxiliary. Now we're going to add some reverb and delay to add back the natural sound that our ears normally hear. So what you can do, if you haven't deleted the auxiliary track before, there's another way you can do it. You can select here A, and we're going to put new track, and we're going to name this second auxiliary reverb. Seems like I'm spelling it a bit wrong, so I'm going to do it over again. R-E-V-E-R-B, reverb, and click create. Now it creates this send return. What you can do is for the reverb, you can push it to about 15 or 20 just to begin with, and ask the artist if it's sounding okay to he or she. Recording dry or flat, it gives the artist a really unnatural feeling, and it harder for the artist to even deliver. Now for this first input, normally I would record with deverb and play it and set it to medium, a little bit of pre-delay, and practically that's about it. Or sometimes I might use a large plate. It depends on the type of vocalist or the type of song that I'm working with. Now for the second one, you can select B, bus, no, B, new track, and we're going to name this one delay. And it also have this send return option pops up. So normally I would set it around, start around 30, depends on the song that I'm working with, but normally I have mine there. And The delay that I normally use and record with is from Soundtize. I can use any other delay plugin. So I'm going to use EchoBoy Junior. And most times I really start with eighth note, but there are other times I start with second with a real extremely low feedback and 100% mix. And I filter out the highs and lows and add a little bit of saturation to my um, reverb, my delay. In most cases, I use a studio tape. There are other cases I use the Echoplex settings. It is a great sounding delay sound. I hear it on a lot of vintage music, dancehall music, reggae music, dub music. So I tend to use it because it is a familiar sound to dancehall artists. Now, another plugin we're going to add. This plugin now, it is from Waves. It is called Shep's Omnichannel. Now, the reason why I really use this channel strip for argument's sake is to add back volume in the headphone or the output of the signal. Now, uh, other people have other ways that how they do these type of stuff, but for me, I select a preset here from Andrew Sheps called Vocal 3 preset. And what I would do is, if I'm not recording with any compressor in, I would compress the signal and pull down the output, because this preset tends to boost the output of the signal coming in the microphone. Now, bear in mind that this signal is not printed to the vocals, so it is not a destructive way of recording. Now, another plugin that I normally add on the master channel is a Dynamics plugin, API 250, and I would set it at 3 to 1, extremely slow attack time, and pretty much select the analog on. It acts as a limiter, a soft clipper, and a little bit of compression here, forward back feedback here, and medium tone. You pretty much can leave down here as is. It's just that I have a tendency to slightly glue the sound while the artist is recording. Another plugin that I normally add on all of these tracks is Antares Autotune EFX Plus. Now, a lot of artists like to record within the Autotune, so you really want to have that in a template, so you can, every time you really load up the session, it automatically there. I always have one within my session, and I'm going to show how I go about in using a utility from Antares to quickly get the key and scale of the card that I'm using. Now, for this example, I'm going to import an audio file import audio, and I'm going to go storage, FL Studio project, and what I'm going to do here, July, loop 45, just go add it because it's the same. Sample rate 44.1 here, 24-bit depth is the same as the session, so I can just add it. However, when you add it, it does not copy it into the session. So if you have a studio and you get the files via Bluetooth or so forth like that, be sure to copy instead of adding. For me now, I'm recording and mixing myself, so what I do is just add, instead of duplicating the files and so forth like that within my system, I just add the files in the session, because I know the sample rate and bit depth that I build my beats, and I record and mix my session in that sample rate and bit depth. So I'm going to select new here. Now you can put it anywhere, so for this one we're going to color it, give it this color here, and no input. Now for this particular instrumental, normally when I turn on the volume, I start like around 10, 12 to have it at a really good practical volume. Now I'm going to open back Artitune here, put it over here. And another a utility plugin I always use is from Antares is Auto Key. It automatically finds the key. In most cases it really works, but there are other cases where it gets as close as to the sound source as possible. But for this particular one, normally if I don't play it, you see C minor. So I'm going to close it, open it and play it again. And click send to Auto-Tune. Now, if you have been noticed on Auto-Tune, it sends the keys and scale to it, and you can use the input type, uh, soprano, alto, low, male, instrumental. You know, Auto-Tune artists or Auto-Tune Pro have more options, but for the most part, if I'm working with male artists like aggressive dancer artists, even some aggressive female artists, I might put low male on it. But for the most part, people always use soprano and alt and tenor. So you can really it's just have to do with the taste and the type of song that you're doing. So the retune speed you can leave that around 8, between like 12 and 8. Some people go down to 5 and so forth. You just play with this until you get the sound that the artist really need. And I normally turn up my humanize between 0 and 14. And what you can do is press Alt, click Auto Tune, and it copies automatically. So normally I would do that and make adjustment as I go. I would have like one track that I record to, and I normally color that track and set mine to playlist mode. However, when I'm recording playlists, there are sometimes the artist sings some parts of the song good and some part of bad. So normally, if I'm not using that clip, I drag it into the playlist and so on and so forth. So normally my session would look like a really gigantic session with the playlist, and when I collapse it, it look like a really normal session. But I like to playlist recording because sometimes when editing, I reach a certain part in the mixing stage, you realize that something doesn't sound good. So for me personally, I like to record and save my recordings. I do not like to delete my recordings until I'm about to finish my mixes. I go over this section and select the audio. So for argument's sake, if it's not selected, you click clips here, select unused, and it select all of the unused tracks and delete, clear those tracks, and probably move it to recycle bin until further you want to change a lot of delete whatever the case is. It saves hard drive space because I think that with session it can get really enormous, that some of the sessions that I have stored in my system, it comes up to about 3 GB, and I've mixed quite pretty much a lot of songs. Now, what I'm missing, the last thing uh, is to save this template. So every time you're creating a session, it is there. So you're going to go File, Save as Template, and I'm going to save it in Music. And I'm going to name it 2021 recording template tutorial for argument's sake, and I'm going to click OK. You want to have the install template in system select, or you can select location for your template also and include media. So I'm going to include media in this one just for demonstration purposes, and click OK. But normally do not include media. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to close session. going to click save. I'm going to go to file now, create new session, and 44.1 24-bit depth. Some people set it to 48, but it's a matter of preference if you want to record at 44.1. But I always have my bit depth about 24 or 32, but in most cases 24. So you have a lot of headroom to use. Stereo mix or last use, or you can prompt for location if you're not creating, if you're just recording. But for me, like mixing and mastering Pro Tools, I always have this prompt for location settings enabled, and I'm going to click create, and prompt me where I normally save my session. I'm going to click save. Oh, I forgot to select something. Create new session, and I'm going to click create from template, and I'm going to select this here. Click create new session over. Just like me do it over, and click save. And it automatically create back everything within it except the media here. But that is good. See, still, if you want to drag and drop your rhythm here, you can name this one rhythm, and drag and drop your rhythm here. So that's it for this video. How I create my the session that I use I normally record in. There's no fancy thing, but I think what you can really add here, if you want loader output to the headphone without even turning up the headphone output on the interface a lot, you can add wave RVox and set it around there, somewhere around there. And that's pretty much it for this video. So if you like it or you get something from it, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. And I'll catch you in another video. So until next time, it's your boy Eldorado. Peace out.